Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dan-Ikpoyi. I'm not here alone. I have Super Sam Omatseye in the studio with me this morning. Good morning. It's good to have you on the program this morning. And just like we were speaking yesterday, Asuu has suspended its strike after the National Executive Council meeting that held overnight. They decided to suspend their 8-month-long strike.
And we said it yesterday that the language you are going to use is suspend. The whole idea is that you hit me, I hit you, I go back, I tend to my wound, and I come back. It's like the ballad of St. Andrews, what they call it? The ballad of St. Andrews, which says, I'm strong, I hit you, I go down, I rise up again, I rise and fight again. I'm struck and wounded. I lay me down and rest a while, but I'll rise and fight again. That's the ballad of St. Andrews.
They are resting for a while.
Yeah, they are struck and wounded. And so they are laying down a little, and then they will rise up again. We hope when they rise up again, it is the education system that will rise up. It is the funding that will rise up. It is the structure of or the revitalization of education that will rise up. Absolutely. And that one will fight against ignorance and not the Asuu people fighting each other. And part of this is also a wake-up call to university education itself that we cannot continue to live in a situation where education is like a hiccup. You know? You are speaking and then you hiccup once, 2, 3 times, and then you lose minutes. And you lose sense of what you were saying before. Right. When the hiccup is over, then you start talking again. So the education is like a hiccup. You know, in our the strikes are like hiccups in our educational system. Because if you look at the whole thing, they were where they were 8 months ago. Right. It's almost like Waiting for Godot. You know, played by Samuel Beckett. Yeah. You know, it's like they were where they were 8 months ago.
But some of them may not agree with you because they had they reached an agreement with government for them to have moved to this point. If you look at the 2023 budget, what is budgeted for the revitalization? About 170 billion, and then we have 300 billion for their salaries. Yes. So everything is 470. So for them, it is some level of progress because the government said...
They have not had it yet.
Well, they haven't had it yet.
They have not had the money that have been promised before.
But it has been budgeted for.
Oh, they have been promised before. They were promised before. Even they promised before in 2009. So promise, and even budget is a statement of intention. Right. So they could have extracted this. They could have said, put this in the budget. Put this. They could have done so. But because of the adversarial tone of the strike, because of the anogo-green nature of the tempest between them. Because of that, there was no ground for them to really speak like gentlemen. That's why I said it was a Kafkaesque conversation where I'm speaking to you, you are speaking to me, I can't hear you, you can't hear me, but I keep speaking and you keep speaking. So it's almost, Kafka had that kind of thing in his novels and his short stories. There was one in which Gregory Samsa wakes up one morning and becomes a giant insect. And I cannot relate to his family, the family cannot relate to him. So one of them was a giant insect, whether it was the Asuu or the government. One of the giant insects, so they cannot really communicate across to each other. So I think that was it. So what we are saying here, essentially too, is that it is the victory for the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gbajabiamila, who intervened, and they spoke like gentlemen. It looks like we were looking for somebody who could speak their language, who could translate.
At some point, they saw
translate the language to English.
At some point, they saw that in the person of the Minister of Education at some point, because when we had a conversation with the person of the Asuu representative of UNILAG, he was saying that the Minister of Education somewhat understood what they were talking about, unlike the person of the Minister of Labour.
I think it was a case of they're looking for somebody to hit and somebody to smooch. Because in the case of the Minister of Labour, they saw him as a target. and they hit him hard, and he was hitting back. It was a case of two lions growling and growling and growling, and they're growling at each other, and there was a cage between them. Right. But they kept growling, and that was going on. But in the case of the minister, I don't really understand what, because they never really made any progress with the minister.
Absolutely.
But they were treating him as though it was like some kind of feudal lord who you could not accuse, but you get agreement with. They didn't get agreement with him. The man said, "I gave them what they wanted, but they are still going on strike." So it took a calm, calculating, and empathetic Gbajabiamila to speak with them, because the budget was there. Yes. The proposal was there before we made Gbajabiamila. Gbajabiamila is not budget. It's not budget, but they agree with it. Right. So that's why I said that this whole 8 months was like 8 months of juvenile delinquency on the part of both sides. I would say that no side was able to really come down and speak a language of conciliation. No language of conciliation. No pose of conciliation. So what we saw was what we saw. Right. That all of this, what they call a Pyrrhic victory. Like the general who said that after winning a war, and he said, one more victory like this, and then we are all finished. In other words, the victory is nothing. I win, but I don't get anything.
Anything at the end of the day.
Yes.
But
it's just like students, a fight, like a wrestling match between Mighty Eagle and what was the other guy? I forgot him. They fought on this wrestling ring, and both of them were down. Nobody was able to rise up and say, "I'm a winner." That's it. It's a paralysis of victory. Right. Or the victory of paralysis.
Right. but for the students, it's some level of victory because they can return to school and perhaps complete, those who are set to graduate can finish up their project and all of it and move on. And we just hope, like you rightly pointed out, this will bring about the revitalization of our institutions moving forward.